You ever wonder why the government feels like that annoying friend who constantly borrows money and never pays you back? Nietzsche did. In fact, he called the state the coldest of all cold monsters. And here's the brutal truth. It doesn't care about you. It doesn't want you to think, just obey, like a puppet on strings. The government says, "We've got your best interests at heart." But what it really means is, we own you. Dark, right? But here's the kicker. They don't even try to hide it. Every law, every policy, it's just another chain locking you in. But hey, maybe you like being told what to do. Maybe you enjoy being a cog in a machine that crushes the individual. Or maybe you're ready to snap those chains and think for yourself, just like Nietzsche dared us to. Today, we're tearing into the government's lies and dissecting Nietzsche's savage critique. It's going to get real uncomfortable, but stick with me. By the end of this, you'll see the state for what it truly is, a parasite feeding off your silence. So if you're ready to challenge the system, hit that like button, share this wake-up call, and subscribe to Nuggets of Thought, because this ride's just getting started. All right, picture this. If the government were a person, it'd probably be that shady uncle who shows up at family gatherings, borrows money, and never pays you back. Nietzsche didn't hold back when he called the state the coldest of all cold monsters. It's like this giant machine that promises you safety, protection, and freedom. But in reality, it's draining you dry, controlling you in ways you can't even see. Ever wonder why your paycheck disappears before you even touch it? Yeah, that's the cold monster at work. Think about it. The state doesn't care about you as a human being. It's not there to help you thrive. It's there to keep the gears of power turning. And guess what? You're just a cog in that machine. Laws, taxes, wars, they're not for your benefit. They're for maintaining control. Dark joke for you. What's the difference between a politician and a pickpocket? One steals your wallet, the other steals your future, and smiles while doing it. But here's where you come in. Nietzsche wasn't just ranting. He was calling you out, challenging you to think for yourself, to break free from the cold grip of the state. You've got the power to live on your terms. So, the question is, are you going to let this cold monster run your life? Or are you going to take control of your own destiny? If you're ready to break the chains, hit that like button, share this with someone who needs to wake up, and smash that subscribe button for more nuggets of thought. Let's keep the fire burning. Let's get real for a second. Nietzsche didn't mince words, and neither should we. The state is the coldest of all cold monsters. It chills your spine, doesn't it? Think about it. The state isn't here to nurture or care for you. It's an icy, soulless machine that serves only itself, feeding off our freedoms, all while wearing a fake smile of order and security. Are we really okay with living under this illusion? Or are we just sheep, afraid to admit the cage we're in? The truth is, the state doesn't protect us. It shackles us all in the name of control. Now, here's where you have a choice. Stay in line, or break those chains. The state thrives on your silence. But what if you took back your voice? What if you reclaimed your power? Because it's only when you stop feeding the monster that it starts to weaken. So think about it. Are you ready to fight for your own freedom? Or will you keep letting the coldest monster rule your life? Let's spark a revolution of thought together. Like, share, and subscribe to Nuggets of Thought. Let's wake the world up. All right, let's get real for a second. Imagine if every time the government spoke, it was like listening to that one friend who promises they'll pay you back, but never does. Nietzsche nailed it when he said, "Everything the state says is a lie, and everything it has stolen." Think about it. Those promises of freedom, security, and prosperity. Yeah, they're just fancy lies dressed up to keep you from seeing the truth. The truth is, the state doesn't give, it takes. And it takes everything. Your money, your freedom, your future. Here's a dark joke for you. What's the difference between a thief and the government? At least the thief has the decency to cover his face when he robs you. The state is the master of illusion, telling you what you want to hear while picking your pockets and smiling as it does. Your taxes, your hard-earned cash, they didn't go to help you or anyone like you. They went into the pockets of those in power. And the worst part, we've been conditioned to think it's normal, that we need them to survive. Spoiler alert, we don't. Nietzsche wasn't just being edgy. He was trying to wake us up. He was saying, look closer. Everything the state claims to provide, it has stolen from you. It's time to challenge the status quo, to question the systems that we blindly follow. So here's the deal. Are you going to keep living in the lie, or are you ready to wake up and take back what's yours? If you're down to break free, hit that like button, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to Nuggets of Thought. Let's rise above the lies, together. Let's cut to the chase. Nietzsche's words hit like a punch to the gut. Everything the state says is a lie, and everything it has stolen. Ever stop and wonder if anything the state tells us is true? The promises of freedom, safety, equality, are they really for us? Or is it all smoke and mirrors to keep us in line, while they rob us blind of our autonomy? The state is a thief, dressed up in law and order, taking our rights, our individuality, our voice, all while making us believe we need it to survive. Here's the thing. If you're not mad yet, you should be. Because every time we nod our heads and play along, we're giving them more power to control us. But what if we called them out on their lies? What if we refuse to let them steal from us any longer? It's time to wake up, see the state for what it truly is, and take back what's ours. Our truth, our freedom, our lives. So, are you ready to question everything? Join the revolution of thought. Like, share, and subscribe to Nuggets of Thought. Let's expose the lies together. Alright, picture this. If oppression were an Olympic sport, the state would have a gold medal hanging around its neck. Nietzsche didn't hold back when he said, the state is a system of organized oppression. Think about it. Everything about the state is designed to keep you in line, to make sure you follow the rules while the people in power change them whenever it suits them. You ever feel like you're living in a rigged game? That's because you are. The state, it's like that school bully who not only takes your lunch money but makes you feel like you deserve it. What's scarier than a corrupt politician? A whole system built to keep corrupt politicians in power. Now let's get real. The state isn't here to uplift you or help you live your best life. It's here to maintain control, to keep you working, paying taxes, and following orders. They'll tell you it's for the greater good. But who's really benefiting? Spoiler alert, it's not you. It's the people at the top sitting comfortably while the rest of us do the heavy lifting. It's oppression wrapped up in a neat little package and sold to us as democracy or freedom. But here's the thing. Nietzsche was calling us to see through this charade, to realize that the state system of oppression only works if we allow it. The power lies in our hands to question, to rebel, to fight back. So what's it gonna be? Are you ready to keep playing by their rules, or are you ready to break free? If you're feeling that fire, hit that like button, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to Nuggets of Thought. Let's challenge this system, together. Let's be real for a second. Nietzsche didn't sugarcoat it when he said, the state is a system of organized oppression. It's not here to help you rise. It's here to keep you down, to organize your life into boxes that suit its agenda, not yours. The state is the ultimate puppet master, pulling strings to keep us in line, making sure we stay just comfortable enough to not question the chains we wear. But let me ask you this. When was the last time you truly felt free? Or have we all been conditioned to accept this oppression as normal? The state thrives on our blind obedience, on the illusion of control it gives us. But what if we stopped playing along? What if we broke out of the system and started thinking for ourselves? You're not powerless. In fact, you have more power than they want you to believe. It's time to wake up, push back, and refuse to be part of a system designed to hold you down. So, What's your next move? Will you keep playing the state's game? Or will you stand tall and reclaim your freedom? Like, share, and subscribe to Nuggets of Thought. Let's break the system together. All right, imagine this. If the state had its way, we'd all be living like those generic background characters in a video game. No personality, no individuality, just drones following orders. Nietzsche hit the nail on the head with, state interference annihilates the individual. Think about it. Every time the government sticks its nose into our lives, something gets stripped away. Our choices, our freedoms, our ability to stand out. It's like they're slowly erasing who we are. One law, one regulation at a time. Ever feel like the more freedom they promise, the less freedom you actually have? What's the fastest way to kill creativity? Tell someone the state will take care of everything for them. The state thrives on conformity, on making sure we all fit into neat little boxes, following the same rules, thinking the same thoughts. And what happens when you stand out? When you try to live differently, they slap a label on you. Outlaw, rebel, problem, and do everything they can to pull you back into line. It's not just about control, it's about killing the spark that makes you, you. When the state interferes, it's like it's suffocating your very soul, until you're nothing more than a cog in their cold, mechanical system. But here's the thing. Nietzsche was challenging us to push back, to remember that we are more than just pawns in the state's game. We are individuals capable of living life on our own terms. So, what's your move? Are you going to let the state keep you in check, or are you going to reclaim your individuality? If you're ready to rise up, hit that like button, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to Nuggets of Thought. Let's reignite the fire of individuality together. Let's get brutally honest. Nietzsche wasn't messing around when he said, state interference annihilates the individual. Think about that. Every law, every rule, every time the state tells you what you can and can't do, a piece of your individuality dies. It's like a slow, calculated erosion of who you truly are. The state doesn't want thinkers. It wants followers. It thrives on conformity, making you feel like your worth is tied to how well you obey. But let me ask you, are you really living if the choices you make are just the ones they allow? The more the state interferes, the more we lose touch with our own power, our own voice. But here's the truth. They only have as much power as we give them. What if we stopped letting them dictate who we are? What if we stopped allowing the state to box us in, and instead fought to live life on our own terms? So what's it going to be? Are you going to be just another cog in their machine? Or will you reclaim your individuality and become who you were meant to be? Like, share, and subscribe to Nuggets of Thought. Let's break free together. All right, here's a harsh truth. In the state, the strong don't just carry their own weight. They're chained to the weak, dragging them along. Nietzsche wasn't sugarcoating it when he said, in the state, the strong are chained to the weak. Think about it. If you're capable, ambitious, and ready to push the boundaries, the state will do everything in its power to slow you down, to make sure you carry the load of those who can't keep up. It's like running a race with a ball and chains strapped to your ankle, while the state tells you this is fair. What's heavier than the weight of your potential? The person the state makes you carry on your back. Nietzsche saw the state as a machine that crushes individuality, forcing the strong to shoulder the burden of the weak. It's not about uplifting everyone. It's about dragging down those who could rise higher. The state's version of equality is a prison for the strong, a place where mediocrity rules and greatness is suppressed in the name of fairness. But fairness? It's a lie. What they really want is control. But here's the question. Are you going to let the state keep you chained? Or are you going to break free and unleash your full potential? Nietzsche wasn't telling us to abandon the weak, but to refuse being shackled by a system that rewards mediocrity over excellence. So, what's your move? Are you going to stay trapped? Or are you ready to unchain yourself? If you're feeling that fire, hit that like button, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to Nuggets of Thought. Let's break those chains, together. Let's get real. Nietzsche wasn't playing around when he said, "In the state, the strong are chained to the weak." That hits deep, doesn't it? Imagine this. The state forces the capable, the visionaries, the strong-willed, to carry the weight of those who refuse to break free from mediocrity. It's a system where the bold are held back, tied down by rules meant to make everyone equal. But equal in what? In weakness? In stagnation? The state fears the strong because the strong are the ones who challenge the status quo. They push boundaries. They rise above, and that threatens the system. But what if we stopped letting the weak drag us down? What if the strong unleashed their potential, free from the chains the state uses to keep them in line? Here's the deal. You have the power to break those chains, to refuse to be bound by the limitations of others. Will you continue to carry the burden of the weak? Or will you rise above, claiming your strength and living on your own terms? Think about it. Like, share, and subscribe to Nuggets of Thought. Let's shatter those chains together. All right, let's cut to the chase. Nietzsche didn't mince words when he said, "The state strives to destroy the exceptional." It's like the state sees those shining stars, the ones who dare to stand out, and decides they need to be dimmed. Like that friend who shows up to the party dressed way too well and makes everyone else feel like a potato in sweatpants. The truth is, the state is terrified of those who think differently, who challenge the status quo, and who refuse to conform. Why did the exceptional person get kicked out of the state's party? Because they kept bringing the good vibes while everyone else was busy sipping on mediocrity. The state wants us all to be the same, marching in lockstep, living lives that are comfortable and predictable. If you're exceptional, you're a threat to their carefully crafted illusion. They'll try to box you in, label you as a troublemaker, or even worse, they'll push you out. The sad part? Many people fall for it. They think fitting in will keep them safe, but in reality, it's a one-way ticket to mediocrity. But here's where the power lies. It's in your hands. You don't have to let the state snuff out your flame. Instead, be the wildfire that challenges the dry grass around you. Be the exceptional force that shakes things up, that refuses to be silenced. So, are you going to let the state crush your spirit? Or are you ready to rise and shine? If you're feeling that fire, smash that like button, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to Nuggets of Thought. Let's celebrate the exceptional together. Let's not sugarcoat it. Nietzsche's words, "The state strives to destroy the exceptional," are a brutal truth. The state doesn't want you to stand out, to be brilliant, to rise above the average. Why? Because the exceptional can't be controlled. They challenge the system, break its rules, and show the world what true potential looks like. The state thrives on mediocrity, on keeping everyone in line, because that's how it stays in power. It crushes innovation, drowns out the voices of the extraordinary, and suppresses greatness, because greatness scares the hell out of it. Here's the harsh reality. If you're exceptional, the state is coming for you. But you don't have to let it win. The system wants you to conform, to hide your light, but that's not who you are. You were meant to rise, to break free, to disrupt the status quo. So, are you going to let the state destroy your potential, or are you going to unleash it? Will you be just another cog, or will you be the exception that shakes the system to its core? Like, share, and subscribe to Nuggets of Thought. Together, let's protect what makes us exceptional. Let's dive right in, shall we? Nietzsche nailed it when he said, "The state only values what it can control." Think about it. If the state can't put a leash on it, it doesn't care. It's like that jealous ex who only wants you around to keep tabs on your every move. The state isn't interested in your freedom or your dreams. It's only about maintaining its grip on power. If you don't fit neatly into its little box, well, good luck. You're on your own. Why did the state bring a ruler to the party? Because it wanted to measure how much fun everyone was having, and control it, of course. But seriously, the state thrives on control. It wants to manage your thoughts, your behaviors, and even your aspirations. The moment you start to think outside the box, question the system, or pursue something unconventional, the state sees you as a loose cannon. It values compliance over creativity, obedience over innovation. The result? A world full of yes men and yes women, too afraid to push boundaries or challenge the status quo. But here's the catch. You don't have to play by their rules. Embrace your uniqueness, your individuality, and refuse to be controlled. The state may try to box you in, but you can break free and live authentically. So, what's it gonna be? Are you gonna let the state dictate your value, or are you ready to rise above? If you feel that fire, hit that like button, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to Nuggets of Thought. Let's take back our value, together. Let's cut through the noise. The state only values what it can control. Nietzsche's words couldn't be more on point. Think about it. The state doesn't care about your potential, your dreams, or your individuality unless it can fit neatly into its agenda. The state values obedience, not brilliance. It rewards conformity and punishes rebellion. If it can't control you, you're a threat. They don't want thinkers, creators, or disruptors. They want followers, people who just do what they're told. But here's the thing. You're more than just something to be controlled. You're not a puppet for the state to pull strings on. If you feel the chains tightening, that's your cue. It's time to break free. The state will never value what it can't control, but that doesn't mean you should bow down. In fact, it's a sign that you're on the right path, the path that scares them. So, ask yourself, are you going to let the state control your worth? Or will you rise and show them that you're untamable, unstoppable, uncontrollable? Like, share, and subscribe to Nuggets of Thought. Let's show the state that we will not be controlled. Together, let's become what they fear most. Let's get real for a moment. Nietzsche wasn't kidding when he said, "The state's first goal is survival, not the people's well-being." Think about it. How often do you see governments prioritizing their own existence over the actual needs of the people? It's like a bad relationship where one partner is more interested in keeping up appearances than in genuinely caring for the other. The state's first instinct is to protect its own power and authority, even if it means throwing the very people it's supposed to serve under the bus. Why did the state break up with the people? Because it found someone younger and more obedient. Seriously though, while citizens are struggling to make ends meet, the state is busy crafting laws and regulations to ensure its own longevity. You think they care about your well-being when they're too busy padding their budgets and consolidating power? Not a chance. The truth is, the state will always put itself first, and that's a harsh pill to swallow. But don't let this reality crush your spirit. Recognize that while the state is focused on its own survival, you have the power to shape your own destiny. It's time to stop waiting for the state to rescue you and start building your own path to well-being. So, what's it going to be? Are you going to keep letting the state dictate your worth? Or are you ready to fight for your own survival? If you feel that fire, smash that like button, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to Nuggets of Thought. Let's take control of our own lives together. Let's be brutally honest. The state's first goal is survival, not the people's well-being. Nietzsche hit the nail on the head. The state doesn't care about your happiness, your success, or your health. It's all about keeping itself alive, at any cost. It feeds you just enough to keep you quiet, tells you just enough lies to make you feel safe. But at the end of the day, it's always about its own survival. Your well-being? That's just collateral damage in the grand game of power. But here's the real kicker. The state doesn't exist without us. It's our belief in it, our compliance that gives it life. So why do we keep feeding a beast that doesn't care if we thrive or wither? What if we stopped? What if we prioritized our survival, our own well-being, instead of the state's agenda? It's time to wake up, step out of the fog, and realize that your worth is not tied to this machine. So, What's your next move? Keep feeding the beast, or take your power back? Like, share, and subscribe to Nuggets of Thought. Let's stop the state from feeding off our lives and start fighting for our own survival. Let's build something real. Alright, so now that we've ripped the mask off this so-called benevolent government, how's it feel? Like realizing your babysitter was actually robbing your fridge while you slept? Yeah, Nietzsche wasn't here to sugarcoat it. He knew the state doesn't care about you. It's all about power, control, and keeping you in line, like sheep in a pen. But guess what? You've just stepped outside that pen. You're thinking, and thinking is dangerous. Dark truth? The government doesn't want you questioning it because people who question are people they can't easily control. That's why it feeds you fear and lies, hoping you'll swallow it whole. But now, you've tasted something different. Freedom of thought, and there's no going back. So, what's your next move? Keep questioning, keep pushing back, because the more you see, the less they can control. And you're not one of the sheep. Next time on Nuggets of Thought, we're going deeper into how the state manipulates fear to keep you in line. You won't want to miss this one. So, if you're ready to keep smashing illusions, hit that like button, share this with someone who needs a wake-up call, and subscribe to Nuggets of Thought. Let's keep this revolution of thought alive.